Last night I was able to see 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and as someone who very strongly disliked 28 Years Later last year, I'm happy to say this is my favorite film in the franchise. Written by Alex Garland and directed by Nia DaCosta, who gave us one of the underrated gems of 2025 with Hedda starring Tessa Thompson. Like I said, I was not a fan of 28 Years Later. While I respect some of the creative chances that were taken, I think a lot of the filmmaking felt gimmicky and distracting. I think the edit was really poor. The writing, I think it felt like there were too many cooks in the kitchen. I did not think the film had a clear sense of what it wanted to be. All of that has gone out the window with The Bone Temple. I think Nia DaCosta and Alex Garland were in lockstep while making this. This film has a very clear sense of what it wants to be. It has a very clear sense of its tone, which is still very strange, very darkly funny, but it's kind of maintained and consistent. I think the first film felt like 3 or 4 films stitched together. This film has a very clear vision of what it is, and it's telling 2 concurrent stories that work together beautifully. One of the reasons this film is so damn good is it's largely a vehicle for Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell to go absolutely insane. One half of the film is following Fiennes' Dr. Ian Kelson, who is still as strange and eccentric as ever. Performance from Rafe, who you may know as Voldemort himself, is very darkly funny. It's also very human, very touching, and beautiful in my opinion. The man who you already know has constructed the Bone Temple, this thing that many would consider to be absolutely horrifying in normal times, but in this post-apocalyptic world, it's almost this beautiful monument for humanity. In a world where empathy and respect do not exist, he has constructed this macabre monument to those who have lost their lives. What I love about this character is the thoughtful writing. A lot of people would use this character with this very cool aesthetic to kind of mow down zombies mindlessly. He's searching for something different. Through Samson, he's trying to find a connection. He's trying to find understanding about what makes this disease tick. Deep hopefulness about this man who, despite his painful and lonely existence, clings on to things he loves like dance and music. While Nia shows us a man desperately clinging on to his humanity in the face of so much suffering, they also show us someone whose mind has been completely shattered and has given in to his darker impulses. And that is Jack O'Connell, Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, who popped into the end of the last film with his jimmies to the surprise and confusion of many. He was one of many people who found the jarring comedic use of the image of Jimmy Savile at the end of that first film incredibly strange and honestly borderline distasteful. No real reckoning with the idea of Savile himself in this film, but they also don't take it in a direction that I was hoping they would not. What you get is this sort of very bizarre, very British, very darkly funny group that kind of resembles the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange. O'Connell in the film is allegedly in conversation with the devil himself, and he's basically taking advantage of the situation to cause as much pain and suffering as he possibly can. This group, I was kind of concerned the film would devolve into mindless gore for the sake of mindless gore. There's one scene that kind of pushes the envelope there. It's very intense, but the rest of the film is not like that, and I think in that case it works. O'Connell is fabulous in this film. If you were a fan of him in Sinners, you will love what he's doing here. It's a lot bigger dose of Jack. Also, Alfie Williams plays Spike, and Spike is a central piece of this story. There's kind of a battle here for Spike's soul. Erin Kellyman is also here as another Jimmy. She's very, very good in the film. You might know her from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Her writing is much better here, thankfully. The film is gorgeous to look at. It was shot by Sean Bobbitt, who's worked a lot with Steve McQueen and Nia DaCosta. The score is from Hildner Gunnadóttir, who's an Icelandic composer whose name you do not hear enough when you talk about the best composers working today. Or for Joker, Tar, Women Talking, Hedda, Chernobyl. Very emotional film, and music feeds emotion every single time. She absolutely crushed her work here. Same can be said for Nia DaCosta, who had a Herculean task ahead of her here, basically taking a film in this beloved franchise sandwiched between 2 Danny Boyle films, allowing it to stand on its own with her signature style while still having respect for all the material. What she did, in my opinion, like I said, was craft the best film in the franchise. Releases January 16th. Go see the movie, please. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.